And I'll just read them through in alphabetical order. Obviously, we're joined here by our captain, Isaiah, which is great to see you here this morning, mate. Okay, so here we go. Blake Brayley, Cronulla Sutherland Sharks. Patrick Carrigan, Brisbane Broncos. Nathan Cleary, Penrith Panthers. Xavier Coates, Melbourne Storm. Lindsay Collins, Sydney Roosters. Reuben Cotter, North Queensland Cowboys. Angus Crichton, Sydney Roosters. Tom Dearden, North Queensland Cowboys. Dylan Edwards, Penrith Panthers. Tino Fasua-Malawi, Gold Coast Titans. Harry Grant, Melbourne Storm. Keon Kolomatangi, South Sydney Rabbitohs. Zach Lomax, Parramatta Eels. Mitchell Moses, Parramatta Eels. Cameron Munster, Melbourne Storm. Mark Noena-Nichawase, Sydney Roosters. Jacob Preston, Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. Gurmit Shibasaki, Brisbane Broncos. Lindsay Smith, Penrith Panthers. Katoni Stags, Brisbane Broncos. Ethan Strange, Canberra Raiders. Reese Walsh, Brisbane Broncos. Isaiah Yeo and captain, Penrith Panthers, and Hudson Young from the Canberra Raiders. So it's a very strong squad, as you can see, and one that's going to represent Australia extremely well on the next tour.
So we'll just take questions now for Isaiah or Kevin or myself. Any questions? Especially for Isaiah, because he's come a long way to be here this morning.
No, no pressure, no, I can sit here and listen.
What do you think, mate? Do you like the squad?
Yeah, no, it's outstanding, I think. I think every player's been rewarded and on their form for the season, so I think everyone's earned their position in it. And yeah, what a wonderful position to be in, obviously going over to England, Ashes for the first time in over 20 years. And yeah, so it's a wonderful series to be a part of, and yeah, I know they'll all be very excited for it.
Kevvie, what's it like? How difficult of a job is this?
Yeah, very difficult, particularly leaving players out. We could have taken 30 players. I asked Peter.
He wanted to take 40, but we said
the budget didn't allow. But you know, a couple of guys that I feel for, particularly Matt Burton, was playing for Australia certainly in last year's series. But there was, some guys this year that really jumped out of the ground, particularly through the Origin period, and then also in through the finals. So we want to reward loyalty, but also reward good form, and this team has been picked on that form. So yeah, and there's a couple of I think there's 7 guys on debut for the Kangaroos, which is just shows you the depth that we have in the Kangaroo squad, and it's great to see some of these young guys getting their opportunity at the highest level, because for mine, and it always has been, playing for the Kangaroos is the ultimate in the game. So it's great to see some of these guys get their opportunity.
One of those guys is Shibasaki.
Yeah.
He talks about his journey. I don't think people had him in the Broncos team to start the season.
No.
Well,
yeah, I think he started as a train and trial back in November at the Broncos. He's had one crack at it, at the NRL, and sort of lost his way a little bit, but he's got second chance, and he's made the most of it. We saw him, play outstanding football in the State of Origin series, and then this run for the Broncos in the last 6 weeks, he's been one of their go-to players. And last night, picked up 2 tries in the grand final. He had a really strong game, so he's virtually forced his way into the squad.
Maybe did last night seal that for you, or?
Yeah, well, he's been on the radar of all the selectors, obviously. Those guys, as tradition through this period when there's a Kangaroo side being announced, the final series is always taken into consideration, as is the State of Origin series and what happens in there. But also, more importantly, it's a big pressure games, particularly now with I think the final series we've seen this year is probably the most exciting and series that we've seen in a long time, and these guys that have forced their way through great form, in the series.
You've got some absolute superstars in that team in terms of the playmakers, but there's no lead-up games. How are you going to work out the team for game 1?
Oh, well, that'll be throughout training, and I'll obviously speak to the leaders of the team as well, and the selectors once we hit the shores in England. There will be some tough calls to be made for the 17 or the 18 that will play in the first test at Wembley. But for now, everyone, I'd be more than happy to obviously play any one of those players. We've got good flexibility among the squad as well, so that's important when you're overseas and touring.
Does that suggest that if you don't get the result or not happy with the performance in game 1, then there's pressure on even on Nathan Cleary?
Well, there's pressure on everyone in the team. We've got good depth in all positions, from middle forwards, edges, fullbacks. wingers. So, that's typical of the Australian side, though. We've got great depth in our country from a rugby league perspective, and the team and the squad reflects that.
How much nods do you look to in the Ashes, but also as a World Cup next year? Do you want to put yourself in next year's World Cup for those divisions?
My objective and my focus is these next 3 games. So next year is next year. If we can, when we get this right here, next year will look after itself. Yeah, well, I've been impressed with all of these players that have been named. Their club form has been great. Their Origin form has been great. Katoni didn't play Origin this year, but I think everyone can see, Katoni's form, in the last 6 or 7 weeks has been outstanding. He's really matured in the last couple of years into be, a top-class footballer, and he gets his opportunity once again for Australia to play in the Ashes.
So you look forward to doing Reese Walsh's captain?
Yeah, I think just going off his performance last night, but not just last night, I just feel like he's probably been the form player of the competition over the last couple of months, hasn't he? So it's been outstanding, and then you don't want to single out one person for why they won the grand final, but Christ, he did a hell of a job there last night, both sides of the ball. We obviously understand how good he is attacking-wise, but some of the defensive plays and defensive decisions he came up with last night, he was outstanding, and it's probably capped off, just a wonderful 2-3 months for him, and he's a Clive Churchillist, premiership player for the Broncos, so he's incredible.
You're going to be captaining some potentially young guys on debut at Wembley. I mean, I can't really imagine what that pressure would be like. What would your advice be to those debutants potentially?
Well, just enjoy it. It's not every day you get to put a Kangaroos jersey on, so I guess speaking for myself, to be able to play on that surface in this environment, this arena, there's nothing more exciting, I don't think. It's playing for the Kangaroos is the highest honour you can have. You're representing your country, but to be able to do it over there in such a historic series and historic place to play, it's you enjoy it. It's you've worked very hard to get here for sure, but ultimately there's a pressure and expectation on Australia, and then that's winning, and that's happened from our history and the success and the people who've come before us. But that's what we're going over there for. It's going to be a hell of a series, but we're looking forward to it for sure.
There's obviously been a bit of talk around the future of a couple of blokes in that team, Mark and Zach Lomax and Rugby Union. Did you have any issue picking those guys, or was that a concern at all? Did it get discussed?
No concern. We've got the full support of the Commission on the selection of the side. So, and as I said earlier, Reedy, we're focusing on these three tests, and what happens next year or in 2 years' time is out of our control, and out of my control. What we can control is the selection of this team in the next for the next Ashes series.
Is there any fear about the Zach Lomax situation, for example, becoming a distraction while this series is on? Because it feels like something's up on your way.
I wouldn't have thought so. Having spoken to Zach himself, he's certainly got a good mindset around the tour, and he's been training extremely hard and focusing on the tour to get himself, fit and ready for selection. Yeah, I've had several conversations with him, so he's right to go.
Was that, as I said, just to make sure he was in the right frame of mind to tour? Or?
Yeah, I didn't talking about the rugby stuff at all. It's more focused on the Kangaroos and making sure that he's fit and ready to go, because we've all seen what he can do on the field. We need him to produce that form at Wembley and then on from there.
Is it a concern for you? Like, obviously this stuff's bubbling away. I know you say you're not concerned about R360 particularly, but it's the storyline, right? Obviously Zach on that tour.
Look, any competition that comes out of a cornflakes box, I'm not really concerned about, because that's what it is. It's a complete unprofessional. They've got no business plan. Any player that goes is really risking their career. They only have to look at Salford this year in Super League. That was a similar situation. The players didn't get paid. So, look, as I said, it's a competition out of a cornflakes box. I'm not going to be concerned about it.
Kevvie, is Reese Walsh get first crack at number 1 after what he did?
So there you have it. The Australian Kangaroos coach Kevvie Walters, along with the captain Isaiah Yeo and the ARLC chair Peter Valand, is unveiling the Australian team for the upcoming Ashes tour. Here it is for you now. There are 4 premiership winners that have been selected in this team. Patrick Carrigan, Katoni Staggs there, making their international debuts. Gurmat Shibasaki and the Clive Churchill medalist Reese Walsh too. There are another 5 debutants there. Blake Brayley, Keon Kalongmatangi, Mark Nawangani Tawase, Ethan Strange and Jacob Preston from the Bulldogs. Panthers co-captain and incumbent Kangaroo skipper Isaiah Yeo will lead the side yet again. The first test against England, Saturday the 25th of October at Wembley Stadium.